Sorry, I had to do the Adam Larson face after that sweet breakaway out of the box goal he had. Oh, the big cat. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. Had to do the face. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Emerald City Hockey's post game live presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. This is another good one. I mean, big win for the Seattle Kraken. They're locking down that first wild card spot at the very least. I mean, technically, you're only 2 points back of the Kings. Like, third in the Pacific is doable if we want it. That's a whole other discussion. RJ and I actually had to record the deep dive today because we're traveling the next 2 days. So we talked about that. But it's nuts. I mean, it's still on the table for the Kraken, but gotta love seeing them win, especially another big win like this one, a very like definitive, just this team is good. They are scoring, they're firing on all cylinders just in time for the playoffs. Oh, I'm ready. I am so ready, everybody. I am so ready for playoff hockey to come here for the Seattle Kraken. 7-3 victory for the Kraken. Gonna be interesting to hear from RJ just what everybody has to say after this one, just because I think getting ready for playoff time, kind of locking things down a little bit. I think that's going to be interesting. Also want to hear about Martin Jones. Obviously doesn't come out for the third period. Grubauer looked fantastic for that third period. Martin Jones actually looked pretty good through most of what he did as well. But I am curious to hear about that one, because that's if you're going to start dealing with any sort of injuries anywhere in the lineup, it becomes big deal as we're a weekish away from the postseason. So interesting for that one. But got to start off. Gregory here with the super chat. Lemon Lime Gatorade time, babe. Pastor Canner with number 39, one win from 100 points. Isn't that something? Got that for you right there, Gregory. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Jared McCann scores number 39. I got a text right before we started from RJ saying, you're going to see Canner's 40th at Mullet Arena. I sure hope so. I think that would be super awesome. But I'm just so happy for Jared. He puts in so much work on his shot. We've talked about that before on here. Puts in so much work on that shot. It's a fantastic shot. I love that he's gelling with Maddie, two core pieces for the Kraken for the next several years. Love that he was the first player to really commit to this franchise, re-up with this franchise last year, mid last season, when he signed that contract extension. And I'm really happy that his kind of buy-in with the team is paying off. I think that's a really cool thing. I'm just so happy for him. And you bring it up, one win from 100 points. 100 points, everybody. I know we had so much last time talking about the team making the playoffs in year 2 after the year they had last year, but just think about that. 100 points. I can't, like, right? That's crazy. I absolutely love it. All right. So yeah, let's I'm just gonna dig into the comment section, because this was just a fun night. It was a fun hockey game, everything good. Love seeing CPA bouncing like that too, when everybody's going like they were. It's really cool. Scott, we're starting us off with the word buzzing right there. See, that's the way it is. Oh, it's so great. Donnie, what a game indeed. It was a fantastic game. Saw some interesting looks from the power play. That's another thing. We kind of talked about it a little bit on deep dive earlier. RJ was saying they've been practicing some stuff, given some new looks, kind of some new plays, and we saw that a little bit today. He did text me. He said that some of what they were working on is what they were showing here. So I think that's very interesting. We'll break that down maybe in a little bit. How's it going, Afra? Making an appearance there. Braun, Canner for 50. 50 might be a little bit much. There's not that much time left, and you got 2 games against the Vegas Golden Knights still left. I'll try to get her in frame a little bit there. 50 might be asking a little bit much, Bron, but 40, I mean, that just seems like a matter of when, not if at this point, and I'm so happy for him. Thrift Hockey, 1, Hope Jones is okay, and it was coach's decision that pulled him out. 2, kind of cool to see Gru get to pad his stats a bit. Was it announced that Joe's injury? I missed the start of the third. RJ said that it looked like he had tweaked something, or he tweeted out on the Emerald City Hockey account that it looked like he might have tweaked something at the end of the second period. So again, that's why I'm kind of interested to see what he has to say, what maybe the team has have to say. Again, they're never going to tell us anything day of. They need to go do testing, diagnose the issues, all that kind of stuff. So we probably won't know today, but it is significant just given the time of the season that this is happening. Got another super chat here from Leanne. Thank you so much, Leanne. It's a big super chat. Really, really appreciate it, because we all know it's going to happen. Jared, I'm just going to flash that up on screen right there. You can all see the number there from Leanne, that 40 number there. Really appreciate it, Leanne. Really, really do. And yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be great. We're all gonna have such a fun time celebrating that too. It's gonna be so fantastic. Schultz asking the question of, assuming if Drieger is out, is it going to be, if not Drinkers out, excuse me, jumping the gun there a little bit. I'm just still excited from the Leanne super chat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If, Jones is going to have to miss time or anything, is it Drieger or Decord who's going to come back up? That's an interesting one. I think based on the way Joey had played with the team, and this is obviously really like speculation, like ridiculous levels of speculation here, just on what the situation is with Jones. But I would think Joey would come back given how well he played. Grew is really going to be your guy in the playoffs anyway. We all knew that. But I think Joey would be the guy. Drieger, a little up and down the AHL. I still think that it's just a significant injury he's working back from. I just don't know that they're going to want to stick him into that situation, if you know what I mean. Come and Get Your Love. What a great victory song from Kraken Hawk, isn't it? It's fantastic. I was singing it, getting my Gatorade, getting ready to come upstairs, come do the post game live. It's a great song, great choice there from the team, or DJ Trunks, or whoever made that call. They did a good job. Donnie, Blackhawks are not y'all boys. Showed up and put the smack down. They are absolutely feeling it. Kraken are feeling it, and it's what a perfect time of year to be feeling it, right? I mean, you're approaching your first ever postseason. This is what we want from the team. That first line continued what they were doing. Maddie, it's a crime Maddie did not end up with a point out of this game, given how many he was on the ice for the Kraken, and just how much he was touching the puck, making offensive chances happen. I mean, he was right there for so much of it. It's just, just unfortunate night for him there. But we already talked about McCann, right? He's just absolutely on fire. He's feeling it. He is shooting from all sorts of different spots on the ice, which isn't unusual for him. But because he's feeling it, maybe he's got that little extra something going on to the puck. Bottom line is they are all falling for him every time. It's phenomenal to see Jordan Eberle. So again, that top line, totally feeling it. They're all good. But then we're seeing the depth again, right? Seeing Morgan Geekie back out there with those boys. Scoring another goal. Daniel Sprong picks up another one. 3-point night for Sprong. Two apples for the playmaker himself, right? This team just all the way up and down the lineup. Adam Larson even, right? Getting a goal, breaking away out of the penalty box, and then a 3-assist night for Jamie Alexiak. Like, this team is so feeling it. So feeling it. It's so fantastic. Oh man, everybody excited there in chats. Hope Canada gets that 40th. Me too, Tammy. Daniel, great to see the Kraken and Sounders get a win again. But what's up with Eddie talking about hot dogs for 2 straight minutes? Yeah, it was. We also got the return of Eddie, and it was, for the most part, pretty good. But there was some odd tangents he went on that he just kind of went on, and he kept to those. And you know what? It's fine. It was entertaining. It was a kind of a rough game, for going the other way. It was a little one-sided game, so sometimes you need those tangents to help fill the space out a little bit. But it was really, really funny. And then some good ones from John. I always feel like Forsland is really on it when you get when Eddie is back in the booth with him. I always feel like it brings out the best in Forsland. However, I'm going to say this one negative thing about Forsland, okay, and I've expressed this to RJ. Afra's heard me say it. I've had conversations with her many times, usually one-sided conversations. I will say this: Whenever someone like steals the puck in the neutral zone and starts moving towards the offensive zone, he will always call it a jailbreak. And jailbreak should be reserved for like an odd man rush sequence. But he did one tonight that was especially egregious to me. Matty Beniers going in against 4 Blackhawks, and he called it a jailbreak for Matty Beniers. And I'm like, he's going in on it's a 1v4. I'm like, that's not him. That's not a jailbreak. That's like him running back to jail because like something's worse outside. Like that is the opposite of a jailbreak. So I'm just gonna throw that one out there. That's the only thing it bugs me. Bogged me tonight. But otherwise, everybody was in fine form as always. We are all so lucky to have the booth that we have here. Super chat here from Seth. Thank you very much. That batting goal by Gord was something else. You're right. I didn't even mention Yanni Gord when I was kind of spouting off everybody else's names that did well tonight. Yanni Gord picking up the 1 power play goal for the Kraken tonight. That hand-eye coordination, incredible. And you know he's got it. I mean, he does such good work. This is why through a lot of the season, right, we've talked about him being net front and kind of he's really good at getting the moving screens, the jumping screens, right, as he's net front. But it's also the hand-eye. He can get his stick on the puck, deflect it, tap it down, do whatever he needs to do. But in this case, swat it out of thin air. And boy, did he do it. It was really fantastic. Love Yanni Gord, love the energy he brings, the tenacity going after, who was it? Murphy, earlier. I mean, he just brings so much heart and soul to this team. Just so much. Love Yanni Gord, love Yanni Gord. And thank you for the super chat there, Seth, as well. Most likely Kraken first round opponent, Colorado Avalanche. That's from Michael. Yeah, not thrilled about that. But you know, we've had success against them in the season series. They are still banged up. Don't know exactly who's going to be around for them come playoff time. So there's a little bit of hope there. Ty got a little worried when Chicago started playing loser hockey, excuse me. Glad to see they didn't go down that route after. Other than that, it was pad the stats night, lol. It feels like these last couple games have been that way for the Seattle Kraken, don't it, everybody? Going into this game this past week, they had scored 17 goals and only allowed 5. So, I mean, they're just absolutely feeling it. Now make it 24-8. That's a pretty good 4-game stretch. It's a really good week of hockey. Assuming all my math is correct there. It's fantastic. Absolutely love them. Love this team. They are just they are so hot. I'm really intrigued to see what's going to go down with those 2 Vegas games to finish out the season because Kraken have locked up their spot in the postseason. It'll be interesting to see where the seeding is and everything because could we see resting players? I don't know. What is that going to do? Like, hopefully that doesn't cool them off if they rest players. It's going to be a really interesting one. We explore some of it on the deep dive that we recorded today. Kyle, I've seen enough. Big Cat first up in the next shootout, right? Let's go. Adam Larson should be taking all of our shootout attempts. He should be like TJ Oshie in the Olympics. I know that's not allowed under the current NHL rules, but you know what? Like, give him disguises and tell him that it's, Susie or something. Figure it out. But definitely Adam Larson out there should definitely be the guy because he'll get it done for us for sure. Brian, 7 goals, 7 different goal scorers. Good luck game planning for that. You are 1,000% correct, Brian. Teams, when you go to the playoffs, you find out who your opponent is. You start game planning for them. You start doing all your video research. You start really looking at everything. And the bottom line is you're gonna pull up like a game like this from the Seattle Kraken, and there's so many examples of games like this. And you just go, okay, all right, their first line scored. They look pretty good. All right, we'll put our shutdown center on that Matty line. That's what we'll do there. But then you start looking, you're like, oh, okay, well, the Wenberg line, they'll probably match up against our top line. Okay, he's a good defensive center. They've been shutting guys down this season. All right, we'll have to deal with that. But then you're like, okay, we've got 2 lines left. They've got 2 lines left. Oh no, it's this Yanni Gord line. Who Yanni Gord can shut anybody down in the playoffs if you need him to. But that line all season long has made consistent offense. You look at Tolvanen playing there, Yanni Gord. I mean, that line is incredible. Bjorkstrand, obviously. And then you look at the 4th line and you're like, oh no, we've got to somehow stop guys like Morgan Geekie, who have played pretty good this year. Donato, maybe a Tanev, depending on how Hackstall has the lines, right? And then Daniel Sprong. What you going to throw out your 4th line against our 4th line and think that things are going to go well for you? Like, there's just no way to game plan for that. It's Kraken have a really good advantage there when it comes to the depth. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what ever their first round opponent does, who's going to have home ice advantage, going to have the ability to line match and get the matchups that they want for 4 of those 7 games. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what they choose to do, because the Kraken, they can roll 4 lines, and they're going to roll 4 lines with roughly even ice time. How does that affect what other coaches want to do? I've never kind of been around a playoff series that's going to look like this from that kind of chess match standpoint, and I'm fascinated to see what other teams are going to do with that. Ty, Lars with another highlight, Deke 2 lol, wowzer. It was so smooth. And he made it look so easy. But after this one, after that Dallas game winner a little while ago, right? I'm telling you, get him in there on the shootout. Let's go. See our bud. I love Sprong's goal. Mrazek actually reacted to the glove side because he didn't think Sprong had any room to shoot blocker side. I'm kind of coming around on Daniel Sprong, everybody. I think I just have to. Plays like that, the 2 assists tonight, the way he's been playing on the power play. I'm coming around on Spronger. I just am. It's crazy, I know, but that's where I'm at. Oh, it's so crazy. Rebecca, Martin Jones, the only other Kraken player without a point this week. It's so beautiful. That's wild. That's why. Think about that. I mean, I just talked about how incredible they've played all this week, the amount of goals they've scored, what a great job they've done. But yes, Martin Jones is the only Kraken player without a point this week. Which, again, really, normally it should be both goaltenders. But the fact that even Grubauer was able to sneak in there, it just tells you the level of offense this team has right now. So good. So good. All right. Let me see. I think my voice is warmed up enough now for Edwards. Do Adam Larson. Do best defenseman. Do deck the goalie. Deke the goalie. I love it. I love it. Oh, so good. Silky bit Lars. I love it from Brian there. Michael McCann going to get 40 goals and get absolutely no mentions on the ESPN season finale game. Nobody outside is talking about McCann. That's right. But you know what? Well, I would say maybe that benefits us in the playoffs, but the bottom line is the first thing that our potential playoff opponent is going to do is just going to look at like the stat sheet and just go like, and just circle McCann and just go like, that's their score. So I guess that it doesn't even work to our advantage, unfortunately. But you know what? I do think that it'll start getting some recognition. I think, some of the podcasts and stuff out there, Jeff Merrick will talk about it. If you hit 40, I think the situation changes a little bit, especially for somebody like McCann. Maybe the Toronto media, given that we kind of took him from them. Maybe that'll be something that they'll talk about. I don't know. They probably won't talk about it in a good way, but still, I like it. One more win, get to 100 points. That is right, Gary. I just cannot believe it. Let's go 2 points away from a century. McCann 1 goal away from 40. This team is getting hot just at the right time. 1000% agree, Shoe Shine. Got another super chat here from Absurdly Sane. Welcome to Team Sprong, Dylan. No, am I official? Am I official? I feel like it's not official unless it's striatic, but thank you, Absurdly Sane. And yes, I mean, I'm coming around. I'm just coming around. I know. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. Well, it's still springtime, I guess. I gotta go in on Daniel Sprong. He's playing so well. So well. He just is. And he's so dynamic. And again, it's the power play stuff that's really won me over. It's the power play stuff is what it is. And thank you for the super chat. Absurdly say thank you. Oh, such good stuff there. Let's see. I'm going to be a wet blanket later in chat, but for now, everything's amazing from Striatic. All right. Michael, I'd rather play Central Team first than the Oilers. Match up better against those teams. Yeah, and I know RJ agrees with that too. Michael, that's the way both of us are. Shoeshine, I don't want third in the Pacific. I'd like the Kings to win a couple. I like the look of the Central leaders more than the Oilers. Again, same thing. RJ and I, same boat. We listed, we both had differences on which one was the absolute worst. But for both of us, the 2 worst options for the Kraken Cup playoff time was Vegas or the Oilers. And if you finish third in that Pacific Division, that you're getting one of those 2 teams. Most likely the Oilers, which I had as the worst case scenario. So that's don't want it. Don't really want it. Yep. Thrift shop hockey in here. Personally, I don't want third. So yeah, we're all feeling that. We're all feeling don't want third in the Pacific, which just feels weird to say, but that's where we're at. Stratic, damn, Daniel Sprong, elite playmaker. That bank pass off the ends board behind the net. Chef's kiss. It was a fantastic play. Again, I'm coming around. I'm coming around. I'm coming around. I don't know that I'm on the team yet, but I'm coming around. um, let's see. Donnie, hell yeah, Ty. All I could think of is Dylan whenever Lars scores. How about his huge smile afterwards and to see Jamie and Vince surround him with all the love? That was so cool from both of them, and especially because Jamie was there. Like Jamie was gonna, clean up any sort of rebound if there was one. If Mrazek was going to be able to get a pad over there on that, but yeah, he is so happy. Matching his, I believe that's his matches his career high for goals in a single season. See if I can pull it up real quick while continuing to talk. But he's absolutely feeling it this year, Adam Larson. He just seems loose. Seeing him smile as much as we're seeing him smile, all that good stuff from him. It's truly, truly fantastic. I really, really love to see it. Yeah, it matches his career high, which he had set last year, 8 goals. Not only that, that was double his career high. So Seattle just agrees with Adam Larson, or Adam Larson agrees with Seattle, however it should be. But the bottom line is he's playing fantastic since he's been here. I'd like to think I have a little something to do with that too, but that's just my ego probably. Seattle Kraken dominated from David. Definitely, definitely. Crack stack, baby, from Daniel. That's right. Daniel, lines were jumbled when Geeky scored, but I'm counting it. I'm with you. I'm counting it too. Totally, totally. Leanne, I love that you never know who will score. Everyone gets a goal. That's right, Leanne, and that's what I'm saying. Whatever team we face in the playoffs is going to have a ridiculously hard time trying to figure out matchups just because of that issue specifically, because you're always going to have to deal with somebody, and it feels like every line right now has somebody who can just kind of sneak up on you and score a goal. Obviously the top line, it's Jared McCann, but the playmaking from Maddie is certainly there. The second line I feel like is the one that's the most like, I don't know, but the bottom line is Jaden Schwartz, sneaky good goal scorer, right? Like he sneakily shows up. He's got 20 on the season, in only 70 games. He's probably the guy there. And then you got Daniel Sprong, you got Bjorkstrand, who started to heat up again, getting close up there by 20. So yeah, it's fantastic. You're not the Vegas guy's back. Bach, Lars needs to go in on the shootout. 2 breakaways that were disgusting. Call it now. We get a shootout at Mullet Arena. I will lose my mind, okay, if on Monday in Arizona, I'm there in Mullet Arena and it goes to a shootout and Adam Larson steps onto the ice to take a shootout attempt. I will go crazy. You will hear me on the broadcast screaming, just freaking out from the press bridge. I don't care how embarrassed I get, whatever happens. I will just be going crazy if that happens. So Bach, I really, really hope you're right about that one. CR Bud, 5 players with 20 goals. Got to get Bjorky one. I know he's so close, only one away. He's got a couple games left. New dad energy, all that good stuff. Like, I think we can make that happen. How's it going, Pablo? Daniel Sprung can create his own open shot, which is valuable. It is. I mean, he's a very dynamic player. Talked in the past, I love his ability to create and do things with speed. I think that's a very unique skill set that he has. A lot of guys have speed, a lot of guys have playmaking abilities or the shot, but to be able to have, put both of them together is really what makes him kind of a difference maker. And now that he's starting to be a little bit more of a team player on the power play and use that playmaking on the power play, seeing him break out of kind of the boxes of just passing it back to the point or waiting for a one-timer, it's getting me. It's getting me, guys. It's getting me. I can't help it. Light, with that win, the Kraken cannot fall to wild card 2, so we're likely safe from the Knights and Oilers. Agreed. And that's kind of where we want to be. Derek, first star Alexiak, second star McCann, third star Sprong. Can't argue with that. I mean, JB Alexiak had himself a night. 3 assists plus 4, I believe. Yeah. I mean, just incredible night for Jamie Alexiak there, the big rig. Really, really happy for him. Stratic Sprung patiently waited to unlock the elite passing ability on his development tree, and his fully optimized build is now apparent. All right, you will always get me with the video game references. You just will. You know exactly which buttons to press, Triadic. You do. Yes, absolutely. That is what happened. I mean, there's still that kind of darkened development tree over off on the side that hasn't really been touched yet. No skill points have been put in, and that would be defense. But the amount on offense now is starting to kind of just overwhelm the kind of lack of stuff on the other end of the spectrum there. Dog's going, I know she was here. She had a rough night too. Get it? No, that way. Donnie, CR Bud. I was pulling for Oliver to get a goal after him and his wife had a new baby. That's from Donnie there. Totally. I was really hoping for it. You heard Edzo talk about like it's expected of you after you have the kid, all that kind of stuff. I think we'll see one from him before the season's out because of it. I really, really do. Knock, 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 LA. It's the Kraken, 2 points back, 3 left with game in hand, and the ROW from Gary. That's right. I mean, it's very, very possible. It looks like the Kings, there's 1 second left according to my NHL webpage, but they are down by 1. Yeah, so it's possible. I don't know that we want it. I really don't. Seems like most of chat agrees too, but it's there. It's there. After seeing that Wafed sweepstakes commercial all season, Jamie Alexiak gets first star. Lol, love it. They definitely took it to the Blackhawks. That's from X Kid Z there. Definitely. What a way to pull out the commercial. I love that commercial. That's my favorite one. I think I like that one better than the Tanev one last year. Was that the beginning of this year? Gosh, it's been a while. But I think I like that better than the Tanev one. I love that Jamie Alexiak commercial. It's such a great commercial. It's such a good one. Sean, love that Larson breakaway goal and the rare all defenseman celebration with Alexiak and Dunn. You really don't see that very often, do you? But it is a treat when you get to see it. It's, definitely, definitely. Obviously, the defensemen have a special place in my heart, so I was definitely enjoying it. Once I calmed down after the freak out I was having from him getting that chance and everything. Oh man, it was like somebody watching their favorite team in like a triple overtime in the playoffs or something. Me watching him on that breakaway, I'm just sweating and freaking out and I can't breathe or talk. I'm just like that was basically me. Afra's just like, you okay, man? That was like that's just my recreation there of that. Scott, Calgary couldn't dig themselves into a hole. Need to change my profile pic ASAP. Oh, love it, love it. Got to keep the dog though. Got to keep the dog, Scott. That's all you got to do. Sign Sprong 4-year deal from Daryl. It's going to be one of the most fascinating contract watches over the off season. It really, really is. I have no idea how it's going to go, what the situation's going to be. Oh, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be so wild. But we've got the playoffs to get through first. Got the play. Try not to look ahead. We still got the playoffs. Um, 1 and 2 to reach 100. First time, first number has been smaller than the second number for Daniel there. I know we got the game against Arizona, and then who knows with Vegas, they might sew up the Western Conference by then. Maybe they rest people. Like it's going to be very interesting. But yes, 1 and 2 seems very, very doable compared to some of the numbers we were talking about and you were putting in chat earlier in the season, Daniel. That is for sure. Would you look at that? My geeky playoff stud pick getting going early from Nathan. It is. You're totally right. Why don't you just put like 5 random numbers for me in chat and we'll see how that goes as well. Between like 1 and 70, just pick some numbers in there for me, maybe. Should we call up Joey for Monday? Again, it's early to talk about what actually went on there with Martin Jones. It's and again, I doubt that the team's going to have any information for anybody tonight. So we'll have to just wait and see. I like to think that though it was just maybe he tweaked something and Hackstall just said, don't worry about it. Just sit, rest, make sure you're ready for the playoff run. We'll get Gru in there. Ask Gru, you good to go? He clearly was stopping all 11 shots. Yeah, I really hope that that's kind of what it is. And that's all it is. Did you notice that flying Wagner elbow? Glad Froden saw it beforehand. Yeah, that was scary, scary, scary stuff right there. Unnecessary zippers. That was scary stuff. It's the time of year. I mean, these are teams, whether it's Arizona or Chicago, who've been down at the bottom of the standings for a very, very long time now. They're basically being forced to finish out this season because they're not playing for anything. Their fan bases have been rooting for them to lose all season long to get Connor Bedard, right? So you're playing either in front of no fans, which isn't fun, or you're playing in front of fans that pretty vocally want you to lose hockey games. It's a really rough spot that these players get put in on these tanking teams. And I think that frustration just kind of builds up over the course of 82, and it sometimes boils over late in the season. I think that's what we're seeing from Arizona and Chicago. I think it's especially bad in these games like this that kind of turn into blowouts there. It's just a lot on them. And I think that's what we're seeing. I'm not excusing it by any stretch, but I think that's kind of what we were seeing there. Got RJ here to join us, though. RJ, I mean, this team just keeps on rolling.
They sure do. 4 wins in a row for the Kraken. And while this one wasn't the prettiest game, I'm sure you probably already discussed that, they take care of business. They get the 2 points against the Chicago Blackhawks, and they ensure that they'll finish no worse than the first wild card spot. So that's big.
I did not talk about this game not being pretty, RJ, because we got an Adam Larson out-of-the-box breakaway goal. This is one of the most beautiful games to have ever existed. What are you talking about?
That's true. I mean, that moment alone just makes this one of the most beautiful games that we've seen. And Dylan, I've got more stuff for you on that. That was the source of a lot of fun in the locker room afterwards. So, of course, Adam Larson, we got him after the game. He's got to be asked about the breakaway and that move and everything. And, of course, the question, given the team's shootout woes, should he be an option in the shootout? And you know what? He went right with it. He was confident. He said, I think so. I think so for sure. Hack probably doesn't think so, but I think so. No. So, and the V was getting so deep. It was, it was indicative of that goal that he just scored. It was awesome. So, Larson, of course, can't get too big ahead, of course. Dave Hackstall had to make sure of that. So when Hackstall was asked after the game, did you know that Adam Larson had that kind of move in his toolbox? He said, which one? The one where he put us down 5-on-3 or the one after that?
Oh, snap. Oh my gosh. That's like quote of the year from Hackstall, by the way. Like, that's incredible.
He is such an underrated, funny guy. That dry sense of humor. It was amazing. Just with a total straight face, too. Didn't even break. Just like, what, the one where he put us down 5-on-3 or the one after that?
Oh, man.
and we responded back, the move on the breakaway. He's like, oh, yeah, no, we knew he had that in his bag.
Yeah.
That we knew about that. We knew he had that in his bag.
Oh, that is fantastic. I was getting all ready, too, because I was going to be like, Dave, I backed you up from the beginning of the season. I was in your corner, and I was all ready. But you know what? I like that.
And then Piper followed up saying, he says he should be a shootout candidate. He said you might not agree with that though. And then Hackstall said, yeah, probably not.
I would have loved if he was like, well, I don't know.
Probably not.
That's pretty good. And that tells me Adam Larson must have a very similar sense of humor to me, because I would love if somebody just threw me under the bus like that. Like, I always think,
I know, I get the feeling Larson's going to respect the heck out of that for sure. Yeah, sure. No, that's going to be great. And hey, Jordan Eberle too was asked about Larson's move on the break, and he's like, yeah, hey, I mean, he's scored on more of those than I have this year. So the guys were definitely giving him props there.
Habag already brought it up, the idea of, if at Mullet Arena they go to a shootout, Adam Larson pops out. I said, you will hear me on the broadcast.
You will. we will hear you on the broadcast for sure.
Definitely. Daniel, seemed like there was some extra juice at CPA tonight on the broadcast. Can you confirm, RJ?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think after that last game and clinching a playoff spot, everyone was hyped up for what's to come. And yeah, for sure, the atmosphere here was great, and it's just going to keep rolling. Like that, I just every home game from now on, through the rest of the season, I think we're going to get that.
Yeah, I think so too, and especially the way this team is rolling. I mean, just the goal scoring, RJ, just all the lines rolling, everybody going. This is really what you missed. Okay, while we were waiting on you here. I think I've come around on Daniel Sprong.
Really?
Yes. It's
pay him what he wants?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe that's too far.
Pushing me a little bit here. But I'm coming around to the playmaking, the added playmaking on top of the scoring, and especially on the power play, RJ. The different looks he's starting to give the team from the power play. I respect it. I do. I really
Yep.
do.
I know they were going with some different looks on the power play. I love to see it. I mean, we recorded the deep dive earlier today before this game, and I was talking about the different looks that they were trying in morning skate today. When the podcast actually comes out, it's not going to appear as prophetic as like, oh, we saw this coming. But definitely some different looks on the power play. And how about that pass from Sprong on the geeky goal? He sure showed me after that one where I brought up that he's usually a shooter. He has gone total playmaker since then. And you know what? I love to see it.
Yeah, he's playing really, really well right now. Talked about it a little while ago. I mean, it's just going to be the most fascinating contract discussion this whole offseason. Any team in the league, it just has to be. It's going to be so fascinating. Sean, speaking of it, Sprong has really shown his scoring and passing skills for the Kraken. Playoff X factor. He very well could be. I mean, talking about other teams trying to line up match against the Kraken, when you've got depth and you've got somebody like Sprong who might be going up against other teams' fourth liners, I mean, he's going to eat them alive.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just he's going to be a matchup nightmare in that fourth line. And also watching him in this game, too, the times where he would just build up a head of steam, too, with the puck and just go down the ice. It's just fun to watch.
Yep. All right. Interesting question here from Krakenhawk. I like this. So, who we like growing the best playoff beard? My money is on Lars. He's got it going already. It should only get fuller. Scandinavians always seem to grow the best beards. It's the Viking blood. I'm actually struggling to think, RJ, because I don't know. I think Adam Larson likes to keep it trimmed. Probably not going to do that for the postseason. I'm wondering how long that thing can get.
Yeah, if they make a run, it could get pretty long. If he let that thing go a little bit longer too. And yeah, I mean it's the Viking blood. He's from northern Sweden too, so the beard is going to be serious. I think he's got to be the number one contender for best playoff beard.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. And then conversely, it'll be interesting to see who has the worst one. There's always one poor soul, RJ.
Yeah. And you know what? Normally you'd point to the 20-year-old rookie, but it's definitely not going to be Matty.
No, it will not be at all. I think it might be Geeky. That's kind of my guess.
Yeah, I can't really picture it, to be honest.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Or maybe just nothing will happen there. Donnie, yeah, man. And for Yanni to make sure his hands were lower than the crossbar with the first tip was solid. You want to talk about that Yanni Gord goal? I don't know if you got a good.
Oh, yeah. No, I got a good view of it. The hand-eye coordination was excellent. I believe that was on the net that was nearest to me. To hit it not once, but twice, to kind of settle it down out of the air and then to bat it into the net. A great play. And it wasn't like that was coming off a direct shot, too. I believe it was Alex Vlasic of the Blackhawks that made a really good save on the initial shot that was coming in that probably would have gone in anyway if not for him. And that puck just bounced right up to Yanni, and to be able to kind of track that and corral it all in a couple motions, really impressive stuff.
Yeah, it was super, super cool. Sarah reminded everybody to like the stream. Another reminder for me to go do Adam Larson do best defenseman. I love it so much, RJ. Nice to see the Kraken slam the door shut this game. Didn't give up any goals in that last few minutes or anything silly like that. Just blew them out and slammed the door shut. Kraken hockey, baby. Yeah, I mean, there was that one kind of brief stretch where it was like, wow, Chicago's really kind of hanging on here a little bit. But I felt like the review, the offside review that took the goal off the board for Chicago, that was it. That sucked all the life out of them. They never got it back.
Yeah, huge turn of momentum, and got to give credit to Tim Ohashi and Brady Morgan on the video coaching staff. I mean, though, as Hackstall mentioned after the game, he's like, those guys have it already figured out. By the time it's 10 feet for the blue line, it's not even close. They know right away when it's offside, and so he was able to challenge that without any hesitation. So credit to the video coaches; they've done great work all season.
Yeah, they really, really have. Any word on Martin Jones?
This one was tough. We kind of had to wrestle an answer out of Hackstall on Jones. So he was unavailable for the third period, so it was not just a coach's decision to pull him. And tried to ask, okay, was he injured or sick? He's like, he was unavailable, and he was not. It was not an illness, so we know that he would not confirm that it was an injury, but it was not an illness, and he was unavailable. So, I mean, come on. And again, you could see too on the broadcast, he was a little bit slow to get up. He wasn't feeling quite right at the end of the second. It's something we noticed up in the press bridge at the time. And we're like, oh, Jones is kind of fighting through something at the end of the period. And so when he didn't come out for the third, we were all prepared and ready for it.
Yeah. Because boy, did chat really go crazy with that one of like, all right, which Drieger or Decor, who are we bringing up? It's like, whoa.
And Axel said, of course, because it's a team travel day tomorrow, so we won't get an update tomorrow, but we will get an update on
Monday.
What is that, Monday?
Yeah. Monday. Bazzi Sprong was a great playmaker in juniors. Nice to see the confidence is there, and we starting to get why lots of people thought he would be a top 10 pick. Yeah, and I was there at that draft when he fell a ways actually. From some of the concerns there, but yeah, he's putting it together here in Seattle for sure. Daniel Geeky and Alexiak both with 9 goals. Let's get them to 10. I know, RJ. We also got to get Bjorkstrand to 20. Let that one come back.
Man, it feels like, I mean, who on this team doesn't have 10 goals? It's like Geeky and Alexiak are getting close, man. It seems like everyone's getting on board.
Yeah, Shushan, I don't think Larson's V counts as a shirt anymore.
I know.
Can you confirm,
it was
RJ?
So deep. Yeah, I posted the picture on Twitter, so you can take a look. It's much deeper than what you've got going on right there, Dylan.
Oh, I believe it.
That's last season's V.
Yep. Oh, it's just like just keep going every year he's here. Like, what's gonna happen? I have no idea.
At some point, it becomes a vest. I mean,
right?
how deep it can go. It was great too. I was talking with the media group as we were on the elevator headed back up, and I pulled up post game as I usually do as I wait to go on there, and I'm like, oh look, Dylan's rocking Larson's deep V. They didn't believe me at first that it was actually his deep V. I'm like, no, I got that from the equipment sale. That's a real one. Like, what? Like Dylan has it? I'm like, yep. And they're like, well, yeah, you know what? He deserves it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I didn't stick that on there. The 6, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, so good, such good stuff there. Plenty of people are talking about McCann because the Leafs not protecting him. Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. So close to 40, RJ, from him.
Almost, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna see McCann's 40th at Mullet Arena. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh, that would be really, really cool. Daniel, people are saying there's going to be a lot of cap tragedy wingers hitting the market this summer, so maybe we can get a favorable contract for Sprong. It's going to be interesting because you're going to have situations like that this year, but there's also not a ton of like big name guys hitting the market either. So it's going to be a weird free agency this year, RJ, I feel like.
Yeah, if you want goals out of a winger, I don't know. There aren't a whole lot of high-end options, and maybe all it takes is one team to really believe in Sprong and offer him a big deal.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. Everybody on the Sprong train as well. Choo-choo from Casey there. Daniel asking, when goalies split time and the team wins, which goalie gets credit for the win?
Okay, so that is the goalie who is in when the game-winning goal is scored. So the game-winning goal is the one. So in this case, the Blackhawks scored 3 tonight. So that 4th goal for the Kraken would be the game winner. And so whoever was in net for that is the goalie of record.
Yep. So just kind of like baseball pitcher, right? Whoever's in there when that run is scored. If that helps anybody. Good night, Pablo. Thanks for being in here. Well, you can't be. Ty tips have left the chat. Seattle and Portland onto the second round in WHL land. Hopefully not against each other. It would not be favorable for the Winterhawks. LA did in fact lose. I mean, RJ, it's only 2 points now.
Did they lose in regulation?
Yes. I know. I'm scared. I'm nervous. Most of chat and we're all scared and nervous about this. Don't like it.
I forget who it was. Somebody actually after the game in the media was asking, I think it was Alexiak and Hackstall, like, do you something, a question was kind of like, do you want these extra points given that you have to play the Oilers if you get into that 3rd Pacific Division spot? And of course they kind of like, you just try to get as many wins and points as you can and you let it shake out from there. But I did think that was kind of funny. That was, acknowledged by a member of the media there.
Yeah, it's scary. Donnie, did y'all see the pictures of Maddie dressing up as the Easter Bunny for a bunch of players' kids? Yes, that was incredible. Fortunately, it came out after morning skate. You and I talked about this earlier, RJ.
I know. I definitely would have asked him about it had I seen it in time. But I just caught it after I got home from morning skate. That's unfortunate.
It's rough, but yeah, there's gonna be some talk about that, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah.
Media members will be asking him about it. Daniel, so our last home game is not on route. ESPN Plus must have selectively picked the biggest games in franchise history.
Wonderful.
It's
Another 7:30 game too.
It's rough. It's rough. I know. Let's see. Strife, after spending literally all day at an ice rink for a figure skating competition, there is nothing better than a dominant Kraken win. Definitely. Although I love spending time at ice rinks for whatever reason. It's my happy, safe place. Glad they called off the fourth Blackhawks goal. It would have been a little worried about the game then for Michelle. Yeah, I mean, they were really hanging around. I was really kind of fretting myself, RJ.
Yeah, I mean, they were hanging around, and the Kraken were giving up a lot defensively. They were not playing very tight in their own zone. They weren't doing a good job of player tracking in their own zone. They were turning the puck over. I don't want to harp on it too much, but like they were definitely giving Chicago chances to hang around in that game. But at a certain point, they needed to kind of just slam the door shut, and they did. And Jordan Eberle talked about that. They knew that in the second period they didn't play well enough. Toward the end of the second, they needed to come out in the third and change things.
Yeah, definitely. We talked a little bit about the, Chicago also in this one, maybe a little late too, starting to go down that loser hockey road, but they did pull it back. They didn't go as far as Arizona has or anything. But we were talking about that, and I talked about how tough it is for players on teams like that are basically at the bottom of the standings all year long. That in and of itself is rough, but especially on years like this where there is a Bedard and you have your fan base openly rooting for you to lose all season long. I do think that as you're this late in the season and you're basically being forced to finish out the season here because you're playing for nothing. And I do think that sometimes that frustration just boils over into them. But Habak bringing up a good point. I don't remember Seattle being this bitter and dirty at the bottom of the standings last year. Glad we don't have bitter players. And it's very true. It's a great thing to point out there, Habak.
Yeah, it's an important difference. I mean, the Kraken were in a very similar spot last season. Where they were near the bottom of the standings, but you just didn't see that kind of loser hockey from them. And I appreciate that about the Kraken. It does speak to the players they have and had in the room where, they're just not those kind of players. So, they can take pride in that.
And the culture of the team, too. We talked about this a lot on that
Release the Fans the top.
With Sarah. Yeah, it really comes from the top. Ownership down to the front office, Ron Francis, everybody up there, and then Dave Haxtell, too, and the coaching staff. Like, that would not fly under Dave Haxtell at all.
Yeah. Oh, no, not at all. And you also mentioned, too, where, look, for the Blackhawks especially, and these teams in a Bedard year, look, a lot of their fans are rooting for them to lose. It's the unfortunate, byproduct of a system that gives teams incentive to lose and fans incentive for their cheer for their team to lose. I think it's a big problem, but I won't get into my whole argument for that. But that's also something that Kraken didn't have last season. To the end, I think Kraken fans were rooting for their team to win. Draft position, it doesn't matter. Just wins were important in that first season.
Yeah, definitely. And getting that 3-game win streak at the end of the year and everything, everybody was just so happy for that and so happy for the guys. And I think the players really did feel that too. Really, really do. Everybody's reactions to that Dave Haxtell quote, just fantastic. It was so good from the top rope indeed. I love for Rebecca, I love Haxtell and Lars being comfortable enough to chirp each other like that. Totally. And again, that speaks to the culture, right? When you have a culture where a coach can say something like that about a player and know that everything's going to be fine and they'll laugh about it later and it'll be whatever. Like those are the cultures, right? Like, don't you want to work at a place like that? Like that's the relationship I want to have with my boss.
Yeah, and I think Haxtell too, he has a good read for what each individual player, what their style is. Like Lars, you can absolutely throw that kind of thing at him. I think it'll make him respect you more even. But that's not every player's style. And I think Haxtell knows that too. And he knows what each individual guy needs, whether it's encouragement or a little bit of a kick in the pants or anything. To the media. I think he's really good at that. Remember when we played Eastside Hockey Manager, Dylan, and there was the coaching attributes and one was man management? It was kind of sounded weird, but like that's what I tend to think it is. And Haxtell's really high in that regard.
Yeah, he really, really is. I was thinking back to our coaching styles back when we coached youth hockey, and I basically did that. And I drafted all the players I knew would trash talk me, and I could trash talk them.
Yep, you sure did.
Problem is, they were all like what 9 to 12. So maybe not as great as like with Adam Larson there, but it was all good. We always had a ton of fun, my teams. Speaking of Hack, do you suppose he could start to experiment with new line changes or strategies in the remaining games to see what works and doesn't before the playoffs start? I mean, we saw a little bit of that tonight.
Right, we did see a little bit of that tonight. I think part of that was Jaden Schwartz's absence, which, by the way, he's out day to day. So, yeah, he's injured day to day, is what Hackstall had to say. So I think that necessitated some changes. I don't think he did anything too drastic because he just moved Geeky back to that fourth line center spot, which I think once Burakovsky comes back, that's where he's going to be. I think that's what that fourth line is going to look like. And then I think he moved Bjorkstrand up to that second line just to solidify it a little bit, which he's already done this season. And then Froden onto the Gord line. We've seen that kind of look before, so it's nothing too drastic of a change. Even if you're going all out trying to win this game, you're not trying to experiment. I think that's probably the look you go with.
Yeah, and you know what? Bottom line is, didn't affect the results.
No.
So it's all good. It's all good. Down here, a lot of people saying Donato for worst playoff beard. I'm assuming they're saying worst for Donato here. Geeky or Donato's worst playoff beard for Michelle there. Absurdly saying gonna be either Geeky or Dunner for the worst beard. Interesting, bringing Vince Dunn into the equation.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to think. Have we seen much from him? He kind of keeps.
I mean, he just won a Stanley Cup, but he was younger when that happened.
Yeah.
I'd have to look and see what he looked like in that Cup final. I don't think he really grew a considerable beard because I just don't picture him with one. But I don't think he's going to have the worst.
No, I mean,
just by proximity to Larson this season, he's not going to have the worst.
So it's exactly right. Here's Ty, and I'm just going to go ahead and take off my Sprong doubter hat here just so I can hand it off to Ty with this comment. Sprong is like fruit stripe gum. Once you get beyond the 5 seconds of sweet, it's totally meh. Sorry, not sorry. Watch the whole game, not the highlights. Lol. So there you go. It's yours, Ty. Got sole ownership of it now. Have fun, bud.
All right, keep doubting.
I guess so. I mean, if somebody needs to, I guess, to keep it all going. Another Donato weak beard one. I guess I just haven't paid enough attention to Donato's facial hair to know. Let's see. Everybody getting on Ty in comments. This is fun. Nathan, my dad texted me and said, so does Gru get credit for a save? Yeah, so Gru gets credit for the saves that he's in there for sure, but it's not the win on this one. Babyface Borgen is my pick for worst beard. Can he even grow one? Can you? This becomes an important distinction for the players who just kind of don't grow anything. Does that make them automatic worst, or do they then get excluded from worst beard because they just? I think
they get excluded, just because you can't judge. You don't know what would be there. I think they get excluded. And besides, it'll be so hard to tell after just one round. You kind of have to get to like the second round before everything really starts solidifying, and you've got the stuff that comes together.
Yeah, for sure. Daniel, did you see the latest Uncharted with Adam Larson? No, I still haven't yet. I haven't had time.
Dylan, you gotta watch it.
I know, but I had to get ready for the trip and then the holiday tomorrow and everything. I'm just busy. I know. I'm going to. I'll watch it tonight. All
right.
Nathan, and we still drafted Shane Wright, so can't complain. Exactly. we got the player anyway without having to be goons or anything at the end of the season.
Yep.
Let's see. Harley, hence large respect for the team. No way I would support poor loser mentality or players that feel retribution is a must for sure. Team definitely takes care of us in that regard. Habak, I think Dave's favorite is Lars. It's impossible. Just everybody talking about that. Kraken had it both ways, tried to win as many games as they could and still had Wright fall to them in the draft. Karma, they got rewarded for it, is the bottom line.
Hockey gods rewarded them.
Yep, definitely. There's a video from when Dunner was with the Blues and the kid interviewing him calls him out on his inability to grow a beard. It's hilarious. Oh my gosh, one of the kid interviews and he gets called out for that on that. That's rough. That's almost Hackstall on Larson rough.
Yeah, no, that's pretty from a kid too. That hammers it home.
Yep. Derek, Alexiak got the Davy Jones hat. We haven't even talked about Jamie with you yet, RJ, but Alexiak, what an incredible night for him.
Yeah, great game for him. I think he was named first star of the game, 3 assists. I mean, just great night all around for him. Deserving of the Davy Jones hat. Glad to hear he got it. Yeah, I mean, like where to start. And I love also just the mentality. The Eberle goal was kind of the funny one, as far as an assist there. But just the mentality to throw that puck at the net. Like, that's exactly what you need to do. I love seeing goals like that. That is how you create offense. That's how you create opportunistic goals.
Absolutely. Good things happen when you throw the puck at the net, for
Yep.
sure. The decision by GM Ron Francis to not make any moves at the trade deadline is looking good. Glad they held on to Susie. He's been playing good defense. He has, Sean. He's really picked it up. We've talked about him a lot these last several weeks.
Yeah, and the last few games too, I've really noticed a few stops on cross ice passes where the other teams tried, usually on a 2-on-1 or something, to complete a pass cross ice, and he's always getting in those passing lanes. He's done a really good job at that.
Yeah, he has. Rebecca, it's like 7 minutes, Dylan. I know. Okay, look, I could have just watched it and like whatever, but come on, this is Adam Larson. I got to make sure that it's like an event and I'm prepared and I can devote full attention to it. And I'm not going to have distractions. Afra's not going to be right. All this stuff. Come on.
Like that just sounds like excuses to me, Dylan.
I was just going to say that's my excuse anyway.
All right, if you don't watch it by the next time I see Allison, I'm telling her you haven't seen it yet.
Okay,
I mean, it might be a while. It's probably at least Vegas, so this gives you some time.
That's right. I was gonna say I'll probably see her before you do, actually.
Exactly. So you've got time. I think that's a fair threat to make.
I'll just no context walk up to Allison. Whatever RJ tells you about me, it's all lies, and I'll walk away. I don't even think she knows who I am.
I think you're gonna do that anyway. I think now that you've thought of this idea, you're gonna do that anyway.
Exactly. Oh, so fantastic. Kraken won, Mariners won, Sounders won, Seawolves lost. Oh, Seawolves, come on. Did you get the memo? It's a night of winning. Phil, for the 39th time, we went to Jared. We did. Thrift Shop Hockey's calling it a night. Yeah, we'll probably wrap up stuff here. Quick, last call. Daryl, wonder what Spronger's point totals look like with no scratches and more games over 10 minutes time on ice. I mean, the world will never know.
I know. We'll never know. I don't think he'll ever get more than 14, 15 average minutes, even if some team believes in it. I don't know. It's just he's like a bottom 6 player, and the whole league seems to agree, even though he's got that crazy production. I would love to see it just once, him get top line minutes with the team one season, just to see what would happen.
I mean, 21 goals, 21 goals, 25 assists in 63 games with average ice time of around 11 minutes. It's not bad. It's really not bad. On the Alexiak Wafed sweepstakes commercial night, no less. I know we've been talking about that a lot, RJ, that one. Becca reminded everybody like the stream for sure. I'll just hold on 1 minute here or so for people to get some last questions in if they want to. But otherwise, RJ, team is rolling, looking ahead to that Arizona game. I mean, all of a sudden, yeah, it's kind of crazy that we're talking about Pacific Division, bracket again. Did not expect that. And I still don't know entirely how I feel about it, but the bottom line is I love it when the Kraken win games like they won tonight, or the games against Arizona that they won. And I think I might be rooting for them to really pour it on Arizona again, just because it's fun.
It is fun. I'd like to see that again. I'd like that for you to have a great experience at Mullet Arena there. I'm so excited for you that we're getting to do this. And then for me to see him in Vegas the very next night. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun road trip. And I am a little bit worried about that third Pacific Division spot, but you know what? If the Kraken keep winning their games to force the issue, that means they've beaten Arizona. That means they've probably beaten Vegas at least once. I just don't see how that can be a bad thing. And I guess just root for the Kings to win their last couple games. I probably will be doing that. But yeah, don't worry. Enjoy the wins. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I agree. And I think everybody agrees too, especially because we only need one more, RJ, to get to 100 points. And I feel like we definitely have to do that. So got to get at least one more win anyway. Oh, yeah. Just
got to get to 100 points. That'd be a huge exclamation mark on the season. And I mean, if not at Arizona, what better time?
Yeah, we might have a reason for all this too. Edward Kraken are 4-0 since I got my new phone.
There you go.
That's
Keep it rolling.
That sounds totally legit to me.
Everybody
for
out
sure.
there, keep doing what you've been doing for the last 4 games worth of time.
Yes. See, maybe I shouldn't watch the Uncharted with Adam Larson. Just saying. Absurdly sane with just a check your Twitter, Dylan. So, oh boy. Oh, is this gonna be very good or very bad? I don't know. Gonna have to go and check it out.
Well, I know what I'm doing as soon as this is over.
I know, me too. We'll finish it up here with this last question from Donnie. Question: what's the most likes y'all have received on post game so we can break that record? That's a good question. I do not know that offhand, actually.
Right. I know the concurrent viewers one, but I don't know the likes.
Yeah, I will look that up, and we'll see if maybe we could do that for the final game of the season. That would be a lot of fun. So,
that'd be fun to break that likes record. Yeah.
Definitely. Thanks everybody for joining us for this one. Another great, fantastic Kraken win. Thanks again to Queen Anne Beer Hall for sponsoring, and we'll see you all next time.